Porthcawl stands on the coast of Glamorganshire, midway between Cardiff and Swansea, essentially a Victorian town but surrounded by an ancient history. From the River Ogmore in the east, the dunes of Merthyr Mawr have revealed evidence of Stone Age man, while to the west of Porthcawl, under the duned landscape of Kenfig, lie the ruins of a medieval town. The museum displays dinosaur footprints from 200 million years ago. Bronze Age folk lived near here. Axe heads and arrowheads have been found in burial chambers near the Kenfig Pool, now the heart of a national nature reserve. Scare House, originally a grange farm of Neath Abbey of the Cistercians, close to the village of Llanddewi, the Nottage of today. Saxons farmed and traded here. The Vikings left their names, Tusker, Wick, Nash and Scare. They invaded in flat-bottomed craft, sailing inland along the creek to the hill, this depression to the east of the village. The stream passed close to Fashionable. Then it went under this road. And down past the ancient standing stones, into the wetlands, and down to the wilderness, today a delightful park. Under the old dock, now filled in, and out to the sea near Porthcawl Point. St. David, Dewi Sant himself, is said to have quenched his thirst at Llanddewi on his long pilgrimage from Llaniltyd Fawr to Sir Benrw in the 6th century. The well of supposedly curative powers. And today, the well water still flows as sweetly as it ever did. As early as 1657, Nottage was a centre of nonconformity in Glamorgan, but centuries before that there was a Saxon church in Llanddewi. The lanes around the village meander, all the more to harass any invader who broke through the outer ditches. The streets are deliberately crooked, and the cottages built end on to the road. The rural air of the village is epitomised in its cottages. Elm Cottage, and Top Farm Cottage. Nearby is Locha Row. Apothecary Cottage, and the old barn, now the village butcher's. Ashcott Villa, where once stood the wooden church of St. David. Many human remains were discovered here in Heola Capel when the railway was built in the last century. A cross still remains, buried in the wall of the village green. The Rose and Crown faces the green still. Originally, 2 cottages, Rose Cottage and Crown Cottage. Nearby is a Welsh longhouse, where the farmer and his family shared their home with their cattle. Nottage was essentially an agricultural village and still has an air of tranquility. It was dismissed as being a quiet cluster of farms and cottages. This stone lamb was once on the gable of the Lamb Inn, but now rests in the wall of Nottage Court. The Tŷ Mawr of old. Nearby are tramway cottages. and Nottage Court was a grange farm of Margam Abbey, rebuilt in Elizabethan style by the Lucker family in 1570. Ffynnon Fawr is a well along the limestone strata and supplied fresh water to Nottage and later to the growing town of Porthcawl. A mile away, the twin village of Newton is of Norman foundation, and the squat church tower stands above the dunes, as it has done since the 12th century. In 1819, the church of John the Baptist looked like this. Dormer window, blocked up porch and no lychgate. The lovely interior shows clearly that the chancel arch was once the east window. The pulpit, unique, wall-mounted, pre-Reformation, showing the flagellation of Christ, and the oak choir stalls. Nearby, the water is calm on Newton Bay. A port existed here in the 15th and 16th centuries. Villagers exported wheat, butter, sheep, wool, and knitted stockings across the channel to Devon and Somerset. In the churchyard are the graves of sailors whose lives were ended by the waters of the channel. Today, caravans and houses fringe the shore of Newton Bay. At one time, there was a solitary bathing house for the gentry. The warehouse, later known as Old Red House, stood here. Long since gone, but it was on this point. Sandford's Well on Newton Green was the source of water for the village. It had healing qualities too. The fresh water of the well emptied uncannily as the salt water flowed into the bay and filled up again as the tide ebbed. Die Viking ascends from its cool, clear depths. The maritime link is maintained. The Jolly Sailor in 1818 had a reputation for being the haunt of smugglers. The bar of the Jolly is filled with maritime memorabilia. Across the green, the Crown was important enough to have its own brewery, and the ancient Britain home of an early mutual benefit society. The village school, built in 1846 to house 96 children. And the headmaster's house still adjoins it. The cottages of Newton preserve the peace of this seaside village, dismissed a century ago as a decayed bathing hamlet. Hope Chapel of 1827 stood next to the Welcome to Town. Now the inn has resorted to a row of charming cottages. And along Newton Nottage Road, the Globe Inn was built near a large pond which overflowed from the Wine.